Hello to all. We are live. We are live. Welcome to Hack Check Studios. I'm RT Bear. And yes, we are live. I'm going to wing it. I'm going to tell some tales, some stories of the old days. That's what I'm going to do. But first, I'm going to kind of BS for a while until I see some signs of life in the chat. Once I do, I'm going to progress. This is story time, you guys. So sit around the campfire. We are going to go down memory lane, and we are going to talk about the good old days. I'm going to talk about meeting Jim Lee for the first time, how our working relationship started, kind of how Image came about, just a bunch of stuff. So I'm hoping to wrap it up in about an hour, but I have a feeling this epic tale is going to take longer than that, but I will do my best. So we do have people in the chat, so I can move forward. So we have Linkovich. What is up, my friend? We have Cryptic Comics. Hail. We have Central Scrutinizer. Greetings. And I'm not sure what he's laughing at, but it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind. As long as you're laughing with me and not at me. We have King Crow. Kaka ahoy there, matey. I added the matey. You didn't write that. You wrote art, but I like matey. I want to be a matey. I don't even know what that is. I guess it's like a buddy, a pal. We have Clayton Monk. What's up? Jim who? Exactly. Who is this Jim Lee guy? And what does he have to do with my life? More importantly, what does he have to do with my life? How did he shape my early years? And more importantly, how did I shape his? Ooh, that's thought-provoking. Thought-provoking. We have I borrow ideas. Yo, art. Oh, thank you. That was funny. We have Adam Post. Hey, Adam Post. Yes, College of the Doggone, College of the Dead. Yes, I think it's still up. It's still up in demand. So check out Adam's book. It's pretty killer. There's some cool artwork, man. I still love. I know I say it every time I talk about Adam's book, but there's a piece of artwork. You guys should check it out. Don't do it now, but after the stream on College of the Dead, and it looks like a movie poster, and it's a bunch of zombie kids in their graduation gowns with their diplomas. It's I don't know, man. I like that kind of twisted, weird, fun stuff, and that book definitely has it. So hey, Adam. We have Ed. Boo. You had me. Oh, wait. You had me at Lee. Stanley? No. Jay Lee? No. Jim Lee. Or as we used to call him, Gimli. Oh, College of the Dead 2 is coming soon. College of the Dead 2 Electric Boogaloo. No problem, Adam. Yeah, we got each other's backs here, brother. We have Albino story time with Uncle Art. Yeah, you guys gather around the fire. This is going to be fun. And also what started this whole thing, one, you guys have been asking for this. And trust me, you guys, when you DM me or you private message me or you contact me through the website, I do read all those. And when you give me suggestions and ideas for, future content, it's all welcomed, man. So keep it going. I write all the stuff down, and this was one of the top 5 that you guys wanted me to talk about is the early days on the X-Men, meeting Jim Lee, Image, all that good stuff. So that is what we are going to get into, and like I said, what started this all, and I have to give a special thanks to Dave Kopecki. So I hope I'm saying the last name right. Dave is an art collector, and he's bought a lot of artwork from, I guess, me and Jim in the day. He has some really killer art, and he posted it on some like art site, like Con Sketches and those type of Facebook sites. And I saw him and I asked him, I was like, can you send me your collection, your Jim Lee, our Thibert collection, and he sent them to me. And also he sent me something really, really fun. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but you might get a kick out of it. I know I did because I haven't seen it in years. And I'm going to share that with you as well. So we have, okay, I got to slow down. I always say wizard. Warzord of the Board Time Lord. I hope I got that one right. That's a mouthful. Linkovich says, tell us what it was like in the 90s, Uncle Art. Ha, ha, ha. You know what? I will tell you not only what the 90s were like, but I'm going to go back to the mid-80s when I met Jim Lee for the first time. So this is going to be an epic tale. So, I don't know where to begin. Should I just start talking, or should I should probably show the artwork, and then I can talk over the artwork so you won't just see my head pulsating as I talk. Give you guys a little bit of eye candy. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do before I started anything. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I apologize to Eric Weathers for this. I got my Flying Fortress. So I haven't even opened it yet. Oh my gosh, how do you open it? Oh, there we go. He's got like a special tab. So look at this thing, man. Killer. The spine. Look at the quality. Yeah, so Eric kicked some butt here. So this is his trade signed right there. I thought this was a nice design element. You could probably also do a little sketch in there too if you wanted to. But yeah, I saw a lot of this stuff when he was promoting it online and everything. It looks tremendous. I'm not going to show you the whole book because he'd probably kill me if I showed you too much. But yeah, awesome. Eric is a great guy. He's more than just a letterer. He also is a really, really good artist in his own right. So this is his book, and I guess it's dedicated to Penny, his dog. I did not know that until now. So there's some drawings in here. Look at those posters and things. Those are cool. I should move this down. Ooh, I love these. Like when people do their doodles, their little thumbnails. Pretty cool. And I think Kyle did the coloring on this. This was one of my favorite pieces right here. The gunner. Look at that. That's Ted Lehman. Is that right? Man, this is really cool. These posters. Wow. There's a lot of them. Some pencils in here. Yeah, it's a great package. And so if you haven't checked out, I think he's going to do another one of these as well. So this is Eric Weathers' Flying Fortress. And I also got all my goodies, my goodies here. So I got to give a shout out to Eric Weathers. Something dropped. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so we have a mini sticker. Very cool. Patches. Wait, how's it go? There we go. Awesome. Graphics cool. Trading card. Sweet. The Plague Soldiers. And it looks like a series of postcards here. Oh, these are like those like propaganda posters. So in the form of postcards. Wow, very cool. And oh, it looks like a promotion for some other books here. Very cool. That was very nice of Eric. And what is, oh my golly, what is, wow, holy crap. Billy Tucci poster. Look at this. Oh, she looks a little weird. Her face looks skinny. Can't have that. Look at that. I gotta smoosh it down so she doesn't look distorted. Wow. Put that up on my wall. Looks like we have the cover art here. Look at that. Sweet. It's like my birthday. Oh, here's the piece. Look at that. This is my favorite piece of artwork from the other than the cover. This is my favorite piece of artwork. Killer. And Savage Wilds. What is this? There's more stuff. More stuff. All right. So, whoa. We have a Flying Fortress Remastered bookmark or tongue depressor. And Savage Wilds, which is Sensory Comics, is this is Sierra Whiskey. So very cool, man. There's a couple promotional things in here as well for other people's books. Very generous of you, Eric. Very nice. All right. So sorry, Eric, it took me this long to do that. I've been meaning to show off his Indiegogo stuff for a while now, and things being what they are, takes me forever to just get everything done. I have a bazillion Post-its all around my drawing board of things to do, things I have to do. Have much. Oh yeah, I'll use this as a segue. You have much Jim Lee original art. Ooh. I have as much Jim Lee original art as I have your art. That sounds very cryptic. Cryptic Comics. There you go. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that he has a lot of artwork or he has no artwork? Oh, is this the printing that did Eric's book? Yeah, it looks great. And to be honest, I'm probably going to go with that Mix-Am or Mix-Am, because I was going to go with Print Ninja for the Crono Mechanics, but there's a little bit of problem right now in China, and I don't want to get mixed up in that. That's cool printing. Yeah, it is. Oh, there's Ted. Yeah, hey, Ted. Killer work, brother. Killer work. And never a problem. Never a problem. We all have each other's backs. All right. Without further ado, let's do some sharing. Let's see if I can click the right button. Okay, screen share. Boom. 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 And boom. All right. You guys should be witnessing. I wish some of these are better scanned than others, but this is issue 8 of X-Men. And I'd like to blow it up. I think I can only go one size bigger before it distorts. So this is a scan from the original page. So I don't know. Should I talk about this first, or should I go in like chronological order, like how I met Jim and everything? I think I'll just use this as a backdrop, and then I'll just talk from the beginning. Where do you start? At the beginning. That's where you always start a good story. Look at that chin. Look at Gambit's chin. Now that's a power chin right there in panel 2. That's a chin that says, "Don't mess with me." So yeah, I think it's probably about 1984, 85. So the first time I met Jim Lee was somewhere in there, 84, 85. And we were at the San Diego Comic Convention before it was the big, huge, I can't say the word, extravaganza that it is now. Wow, that was really hard. But it was at the Civic Center. I think it was before the big convention site was even built. So they had it over at the little civic center, and they still had an artist alley. And if you don't know, San Diego Comic-Con has a big, rich tradition of artist alley. So a lot of greats actually started there, including like the Ninja Turtle guys and just, Jim Lee, myself, Rob Liefeld, even Kevin McGuire. So I'm trying to think. Okay, so we're there at the show, and let me see the table. Okay, so I'm sitting, like if you looked directly at the table, I'm on the left side. So I think one over from me on my left was Kevin McGuire, and Kevin was just right in the beginning of the Justice League run, where it was getting kind of where he's beginning to get popular and big. And so he's on my right, your left, and then on my left, your right, is Mark Pasilla, who I think I met for the first time at that show as well. And then there was Jim Lee, and I think it was Scott Williams, and then Will Spertaccio. So we're all in how they have rows. So we were all in the same row of tables. So we're all there. You know what? I think I was sitting next to Jim. I don't remember how the order was, but so in the day, I used to like to party a lot. I partied a lot, and so one of the things my friends, I went with a posse. We went to the show, and we were all sharing a hotel room together. We were kind of there just to hang out, check out, comic book stuff, geek culture, and just party. That's what we were basically there for. So one of the things I did when I was in Artist Alley is I had a cooler with me, and it was filled with beverages, adult beverages, let's say. And when I was back there, I was just cracking one open, and I had cups because I knew if we were pounding these bottles and stuff that the con would get us, we'd get in trouble, so we could hide it in a styrofoam cup. So I was drinking, and so I offered Pasilla, and he said yes. I offered McGuire, and he said yes. And so then I offered to Jim, Wills, and Scott. And so Wills and Scott, they're pretty straight-laced guys, and they were like, no. But Jim wanted a beer, so I poured him a beer, and I guess it was 3 or 4 days. I can't remember how long the show was then, but we were getting along. We were having a good old time, because every morning I would bring in my cooler, and we would just kind of party there and do our drawings. Because most of like when you first start, you're not really signing any books because no one knows who you are. So we were mostly just drawing and trying to make some money, drawing. And I think we had some artwork, but like I said, no one really knew who we were. I think up to that point, I had 3 issues of Warlord for DC Comics that I had penciled, and Pablo Marcos had inked. So I had those pencils under my belt. I had one issue, I think it was Star Comics. It was the Inhumanoids that I had done for Marvel, and I was inking Jose Delbo on that. And I think I was working on Teen Titans. They had a like a secondary book. It was called Teen Titans Spotlight. And so I think it was what's her name? Barbara Kiesel, but her name was Barbara Randall at the time. So I knew her before she married Carl Kiesel. And she was the editor on the Titan stuff. So she'd give me a lot of Titans books to do. So I was penciling and inking. I think it was a specific, if I remember right, a specific Titan Spotlight, and it was on Aqualad, but it had Aquaman in the story. So I pride myself because there were jellyfish subs in that. And I remember getting the script going, jellyfish subs? How the hell am I going to draw a jellyfish sub? So I had to create what a jellyfish sub would look like. And I must say, I've never seen in the Aquaman mythology a jellyfish sub until I saw in the movie, in the new movie. I think there were like these jellyfish type subs in the Aquaman movie. But anyway, that was what I was doing at the time, and I believe that Jim had just started on Alpha Flight, so he was penciling Alpha Flight at the time. So, like I said, we just kind of became, pretty good friends. It was like con friends. You sometimes you meet people at the show, and then you just kind of hang out with them the whole show. So that was kind of that. And Wilson and Scott didn't really warm up to us. I think we were a little too rowdy at the time. So after the show, we would kind of party. And so I remember one night we asked if Jim, Wilson, Scott wanted to hang out with us. And Jim said, yeah, but the other two guys didn't. So this was so weird. It was like a movie moment where we were all going to meet in the lobby at a certain time. So I remember leaving my room with my posse, and I remember hearing a sound and then looking down the hallway, and I think 2 doors down at the Hotel San Diego, Jim Lee, Wills, and Scott were sharing a room. So Jim was leaving at the same time I was. And I just remember, Wills peeking his head out and saying, you should stay back with us, man. We're gonna play Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. And Jim's like, no, I'll be back. I'll play later. I'm gonna go hang out with these guys. So obviously Jim kind of liked walking on the wild side, because at the time, man, I was pretty crazy. And so we're in the lobby. I don't think Kevin McGuire ended up hanging out with us that night. This was the crazy night. So it was me, my posse, Jim Lee. There was a guy named Stan Walk, and Stan Walk's claim to fame is, I believe if he wasn't the first, he was one of the first to pencil Swamp Thing with the Alan Moore, when Alan Moore started writing it. So this is like I said, mid 80s. So Stan was a really brilliant penciler, and he was working on that stuff. And he Alan Moore didn't really have a track record at the time. And I remember Stan just going, it's a pain in the ass working with this bonehead. He writes a novel for a simple, comic book. He said, it takes me, a few hours, possibly even a day just to read the script and absorb it. He said all the books on the bookshelf, are named, everything in the room, is explained in detail. He said, I just want to work from a Marvel plot, just a breakdown plot. He goes, I don't want all this stuff. He goes, I don't really need all this. But I'm sure once he found out later that, Alan Moore was going to be the great Alan Moore, he probably wouldn't have complained as much. But man, he was just talking about how long it took to do those, just because of trying to break down the story and get all the detail in that Alan wanted. And so so we have Stan, and then we had Steve Olaf and his assistant, which his name was Abel. I can't remember his last name. And Steve Olaf's claim to fame was he was Oleoptics. So Oleoptics was one of the first digital color houses. And Steve Olaf is a brilliant colorist. He did a lot of Blue Line stuff for Howard Chaykin, and he did a lot of DC Blue Line for like Cosmic Odyssey, the Mike Mignola book and stuff like that. So this guy was definitely had his eye on the future. And I think one of the big computer jobs that he did early on was putting color to the Akira stuff, the Epic line of books that Marvel did. They reprinted all the Akira books, the Japanese stuff, and he did digital coloring over that, which I thought was brilliant. I thought it looked really, really cool. And I believe that, and I think that's all. And so then we just we didn't have money to hang out in the bar or anything like that. So we kind of there were like parties. Sometimes you'd find flyers. So we were just kind of walking around different hotels, and we were just kind of party crashing different different places. And I remember we kind of crashed a furry party. We didn't know it was a furry party. Man, did we get way more than we bargained for. And we thought like any place is going to let us in because we had like a lot of beer and stuff. Like we were packing. And so these guys opened the door because we got a flyer, and they go, like, you can't come in. And I was like, why? We got this flyer. He goes, not with the alcohol. The convention, or not the convention, but the hotel said you can't, bring alcohol in the room. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. And so we just kind of forced our way in the room. We just kind of walked in. I think Mark Pasilla just kind of pushed the door open, and then we just kind of walked in. And so we're cracking open, we're handing beers out, we're trying to be cool, get the party started. And then there was a room, it was a suite, and there was a room, there was a dining room table kind of thing, and there were guys drawing stuff there. And it was definitely like it wasn't a furry party where people were dressed up like furry characters. These were furry artists. These were guys that kind of did like furry comics, I guess. So they were, I guess, professional, like Samurai Penguin and PandaCon and like different stuff like that. And so what they were drawing, and it actually just sickened all of us, and we didn't stay very long once we saw this, they were like drawing like furry animals like having sex. Comics are weird, you guys. Comics are weird. And we saw that. We're just like, nah, these guys are not cool. Let's just bail. So we kind of got kicked out of a lot of different parties and such. And so then we just ended up on the rooftop of the Hotel San Diego. And I guess we didn't really need anybody else. There were probably 6 or 7 of us. We had enough. We were our own party. So we were up there. There were some other illegal substances that were involved as well. I don't want to get into too much detail, but there were. And so we were just hanging out, just kind of having a good old time on the rooftop. And the Hotel San Diego at the time had a flag. So they have a giant flagpole up on the roof and a huge flag. So we were just punks. I was probably 20, 21. And we just decided that we were going to steal the flag. We were going to pull the flag down, and we were going to claim it as our own. So we went over there, and we pulled the Hotel San Diego flag down. And I have pictures. I looked for them. I couldn't find them. Oh, just to back up. There was like a Marine on leave, because like San Diego's a big military. I guess it's mostly Navy, but this guy was a Marine. And we saw him in the hallway at the hotel, or one of these hotels, and he just hung out with us. Like, he was like, you guys are cool. So he ended up hanging out with us as well. So we had all kinds of people that were just kind of following us along and hanging out. So we got the flag. We went back to the room. We took pictures with the flag. I think by that time we had a couple more people, and that was pretty much it. So we would like party and drink at night, and actually we partied and drank during the con as well. So that's kind of how I met Jim. So Jim definitely wasn't the stuffed shirt. He liked to hang out. He liked to, cut loose, as they say. So that was a lot of good fun. And then we kind of kept in contact, because he lived in San Diego and I was in the South Bay, the LA beaches over by the airport. And so I started working on Adventures of Superman, and he was doing Punisher, I think. And so then he as in Jim Lee, first he started on Uncanny X-Men. So he was working with Scott, and I'm not sure, but I think Scott and Wills were working together as well. I don't really know how that worked out, if Scott always inked Wills. I know that Jim had a lot of other inkers at the time. I think Rubenstein and maybe Milgram, and I think Marvel was trying some other people out on him, and I don't think Jim liked it. So I think Scott Williams was just kind of bouncing back and forth between those two guys. And so Jim out of the blue gave me a call when I was working on Action Comics with Dan Jurgens, and I was doing finishes on that. And we were we just were influenced by the same guys, Art Adams, Barry Windsor Smith, Kevin Nolan, just all like the same guys. And so, and even the Japanese influences, because I was doing those Japanese action lines, like we call them Akira lines, or just like the Japanese action lines. And so I was bringing those into to action or adventure comics. Wait a minute, what was it? Yeah, adventure comics or Superman comics, and over Dan Jurgens, and I was doing those. I was bringing those action lines in there, and so there was some stuff that I was pushing the envelope on and trying new things, because I was doing finishes. So that means I'll explain. Well, I guess this is a good place to explain it. So what finishes are, like finish inks, are that you add all the detail, basically. So what the penciler does, like in this case, it was Dan Jurgens, he would give you kind of just the basic outlines. So think about it like a coloring book. Like, it's just outlines. There's really no blacks. There's no hatching. There's no gray tones. There's no nothing. There's just pencil outlines, like figures and some backgrounds. And sometimes it's suggested. Sometimes it's in more detail. But sometimes there'll be pieces that aren't quite as resolved as others, like hands and feet and different costume details. So it's up to the finish inker or finish artist to come up with like detail, like hair detail, hatching, gray tones are usually hatching, indication of blacks, and just basically finishing the work off, So most of the time, they're just basic outlines. And so a finish artist, at least what I used to do, is pretty much do all the rendering and all the blacks. And then any detail that I felt like it needed, like those Akira lines and stuff like that, I would add little details and things like that. So that's kind of what that was. And apparently Jim and Bob Harris were paying attention to what I was doing. So just about at that time, I was already working a little bit at Marvel. So this is amazing. I still can't believe this stuff happened. I believe my first big Marvel job after the Jose Delbo and Humanoids book, my first ink job was inking Art Adams on an X-Men annual. I believe that's what I did. So I was inking art on an X-Men annual, but I know I inked him on something else as well around that time. And so then I believe about that same time, I started working with Walter Simonson on the Fantastic Four. And Walter doesn't use inkers at all. Walter inks everything himself. So I was really, really flattered that he asked me to help him out. He had a deadline bind and he needed a little bit of help. So I came in, I think, on an issue or two, and helped him out on the Fantastic Four. So I was already kind of, transitioning over to Marvel, but I never fully left DC. I stayed on Adventures of Superman, even when I was doing those other projects. And so then I just started helping out on Uncanny X-Men. So there were some issues that Jim needed some help on. So I was called in and I did. And you could tell like we were definitely in like a Barry Windsor Smith phase. Excuse me, I'm taking some water here. And so you can kind of see the bloopy and some of the stuff I was already incorporated into the Dan Jurgens stuff, but it definitely carried over into Jim's work. And so that bloopy style was there. You can really see it. It's real obvious in the in that earlier stuff, like the Uncanny. Like here on the X-Men run, you can't really notice it as much, but in that stuff you could. And so it's kind of like, instead of tapering into a point on a hatch, it kind of tapers into a bloop or a blunted kind of bloopy end. I don't know how else to describe it, but that was kind of like, I can't say that I pioneered it, because I was definitely, a Barry Windsor Smith would do it every once in a while. So I was doing that, but I think I was the first one that made it into a complete style and was using it, on multiple people that I inked and things like that. So that was kind of my early contribution to comic books, was that bloop, and then those Akira lines, which nobody else was doing at the time. And then that became a staple of all the X-Men stuff that Jim, Wills, and I did as well. So, so then I was doing Uncanny, and then I think Wills, it was weird because there was only one inker. It was like Scott Williams. They definitely needed somebody else, because one of them, either Jim or Wills, would be left out. They would have just like a standard Marvel inker working with them, instead of somebody that understood the style, that helped contribute to the style, that was I don't know, in sync with what they were doing. And so Scott and I were definitely the guys that were doing that at the time. I mean, there were people that came later, but at the time we were the first. And so, so then I think after that, Scott went to inking Jim full time, and then I went to inking Wills full time. So Wills was doing X Factor. I think Wills and I were doing X Factor together. And then Wills was falling behind. So I started doing finishes. So I was already kind of, helping out, be above and beyond. And I think I was still working on Adventures of Superman at the time. So I usually always balanced 2-3 books a month. And so, I was doing that. And so, where were we? So Wills is doing breakdowns now, and I'm doing finishes to help out, so we can meet the schedule. And so then there was this wacky idea of launching a new X-Men book, and for Jim and Scott to go with a new book, which was going to be called just X-Men, and then Wills and I would inherit the Uncanny book from Jim and Scott. And so that was the plan. And so there was this, oh my gosh, it was huge. It became massive. It was so huge. I can't even believe it when I look back. I just can't believe that how massive it was, and how big and how influential this run became. So Wills and I are doing Uncanny X-Men, and Scott and Jim are doing X-Men. So one thing that was happening even prior to this is Hack Shack Studios at the time. I always had an assistant. Well, I didn't always have an assistant, but early on I had an assistant to do like hard lines, which would be like borders and maybe some straight lines for backgrounds, and then do my blacks. Because it really, if that takes an hour, then that's an hour you can spend on other things. So I had 2 guys that were at Hack Shack Studios at the time, and one of them was Trevor Scott. I don't know if you recognize that name, but that guy became a major player as far as inkers and stuff later on, especially with the formation of Wildstorm. That later became, I guess it was Homage, and then became Wildstorm, to be more accurate. And then Danny Mickey, who was just starting. So, I was kind of training those guys, easing them into the business. And so when like Jim and Scott were getting behind, Hack Shack Studios, and even myself, we were helping out uncredited on some of the backgrounds for Scott and figures, different things. Like we were just jamming. We were just, no matter what it took to get these books out, we were doing that. So we were just jamming back and forth, and whatever we had to offer, we did. So Hack Shack, for some reason, we were always way more functional and we could do a lot more work. We would help out at times, above and beyond. And like I said, a lot of times we were uncredited, but we still did the work. And so then, what was it? I think Will's, it was so strange. I don't think Will's ever really liked my inking. He preferred Scott. But even when I would talk to Jim said, you look better on Will's than Scott does. He said, there's like a human quality that you bring. Because sometimes Will's faces and some of the stuff look a little alien at times. And he said, you humanize Will's work. And I always took that as a big compliment. And so it wasn't like I was unhappy, but I think Wills wanted Scott. So then Scott went over and started working with Wills, and then I started working with Jim. And also I think Jim was getting a little burnt because he was working and just doing a lot of stuff, heavy lifting with the pencils. And so what soon started happening is I started doing finishes over Jim. So all the pages you see here that I'm going to show you, those are all my finished inks over Jim, meaning they weren't complete pencils. They were just basically structured outlines. So that kind of brings us up to this point. So I'm not sure if I started on issue 8. I think I started earlier on the X-Men run, and started working with Jim Lee on that. And then, like I said, Scott went over onto Uncanny and started working with Wills. And we just kept it going. So this is issue 8, page 15. So look at Rogue. Hot cha-cha. Always with the long Art Adams legs. Look at that, man. That is crazy. The aesthetic works, though, man. It really does work. And so all the hatching that you see, all the stubble, all the blacks, all this detail that you see, that's all me contributing to it. So I love doing effects, man, like all these impact stuff, with little squiggles in there. It became like the thing. But like I said, if I blow it up, it's a little distorted, but you can see like all these like impact lines with a little bit of like, we weren't doing traditional Kirby Crackle. We were kind of doing like these hints of Kirby Crackle, which looked less graphic and a little bit more realistic. So, and obviously this is all hand lettered. So all this lettering is right there on the board, which is pretty crazy. I think some of it might be pasted up too, but you can definitely see the sound effect. He put, I don't remember who did the lettering, but just kind of sketched it out in blue with blue pencil and then inked it in. I think some of this is paste up. Let me blow this up. Yeah, because you can see through this balloon a little bit here, where it says, "And for the moment, Gambit walks alone," or along the side of angels. Yeah, so you can see a little bit of a line around it where it was cut. So yeah, I think these are pasted on, but the sound effects are on the board itself. So this is issue 8 of X-Men, page 15. And so, wait a minute, was that page? Okay, 15, these are in order. So this is page 16. So Gambit charges up the ground a little bit, flings it over there. But you can see like how the Kirby Crackle kind of has movement to it. I dug this stuff, man. This was crazy. So you can see it in the second panel here. Pretty nuts. Yeah, the hair, look at all that crazy stuff. And then more explosions. Man, this stuff looks so like you've seen people do it a million times afterwards, but this was like the first, you know. This is crazy. Let me see next tier here. Like I said, I'd like to blow it up more, but it kind of digitizes a little bit or pixelates. Even the guys had crazy long legs. Look at the cowboy boots. Look at the texture I threw on there. Cool stuff. There's Bishop. Yeah, Bishop was definitely creation of Homage. Was it John Byrne, or was it pretty much just Wilson Jim? I don't remember who gets just full credit for that. But I think we were working with John Byrne as a writer, and we were working with Chris Claremont as a writer on these books. So look at that. Crazy hatching. The crazy hatch days. Yeah, this is nuts. I'm probably getting more of a kick out of this than you guys are. Gambit is right, Bishop. Huh? Oh, look at that. That's crazy. Gambit is not happy. Not happy. Look at this, some dry brushing in there. Yeah, sometimes that glue, you can see it in the last panel with the balloons. Sometimes that glue will, go brown. It'll look horrible. But the lettering's all intact, which is pretty rare for these pages. Usually the balloons just fall off. So these are well loved. If you find these pages with all the balloons intact, you know that collector kept them in a sheet, because if they're left alone, they start falling off. So there's some kind of protective plastic that these were probably in, and probably are still in. These pages go for like thousands and thousands of dollars, you guys. So you could see the sound. No, the sound effect is cut out. So that was on another sheet. I wonder why it's in blue pencil, though. I don't know. I don't know the letterer's process. So bam, right into Bishop's chest. Look at lovely, lovely Rogue. Very pretty, man. I think Jim does some of the prettiest women in comics. Look at all this crazy hatchwork in the trees over on the right-hand side. I did like to break up my blacks too on this rock, this ground right here in the shadow. It might be a little overdone. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. And then the hack and slash borders, where we're just taking a brush all the way across. That's hard to do too, you guys. This is 11 by 17, so those are massive brush strokes going across like that. So you got to use your whole arm for those. Look at Bishop. Crazy line. Crazy hatches. Yeah, we were just making up all kinds of crazy configurations. The nuttier, the better with the hatching. That was always our motto. Look at that. Don't you mess with Gambit and Rogue. Do not mess. Oh, look at him. He's jabbing. He's jabbing Bishop right in the chest. That's not good. That's not going to end well. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys, I actually I have a file now. I'm saving this stuff because I do not own this, and I may have Xerox copies of it. I know I tease you guys with my Xerox collection, but one of these days I'm going to go downstairs because I have the Thibert vault upstairs, but then I have a lot of stuff in storage downstairs. So I'm not even sure what kind of shape that stuff is in. I think Xeroxes do deteriorate a little bit over time. So these are like 20, 25 years, probably 25 plus years old now. So enter Ghost Rider. You want to extinguish your helmet? Is there a problem, officer? Oh, no problem. It's not every day you see a guy with this head on fire. You can see my little blue notes on the side and blue pen. No, actually, that's the letterer. Maybe that's the editor notes. Maybe license was spelt wrong or something. Sometimes you see editorial notes on the pages, more on the older stuff, because now the editors never even touch the originals. Wow, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, Ghost Rider payoff here. Let's see what else we got. This might be the last one before the page I teased you guys with. That was a bonus when David Kopecki sent this stuff to me. Is that a pie? Is Rogue getting hit in the face with a pie? What is this? Is this the Marx Brothers? Well, anyways, you don't want to do that to Rogue. Look at that. She's not happy, man. Not happy. But they are. They're laughing at her. So let me blow this up a little bit because these last couple panels are hard to see. This is about as big as I can get them to. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All that uplighting where we would hatch, like there was like a reflective light coming up. So like on Bishop's abs and on their chest and stuff like that. I remember Wills giving me the lowdown on how that worked. It's a reflective light. It's kind of an uplight that's coming in. So it has to, he was always like, it has to progress flawlessly into a black. And I remember talking to, I think it was Wilson Scott. Like they used to come over to Hack Shack Studios. Like I said, we were in the South Bay, and I used to drive down to San Diego and hang out with them. Homage Studios was basically an apartment that they rented and turned it into a studio. It was pretty cool, actually. I just had my actual apartment that was my studio. Actually, mine was kind of cooler because it was right on the beach. I think it was Hermosa Beach, so I lived right on the Strand there. So, but they had well, I had a kitchen too. Yeah, well, yeah, I think mine was cooler. And so I remember Will's telling me, he was like, they have to progress into a perfect kind of black. Like the lines had to hatch into a perfect black. And so I remember, what was it? Him saying that I wasn't quite doing it properly. And then I remember Scott saying, like, after that, he's like, I wish I could do that. He said, for every 2 lines that I ink, you end up only inking 1 and it looks just as good. He said, I just can't space the lines out the same way you do. So one of the ways you can tell Scott versus my inks, because they were real similar, is that Scott's stuff is a little finer, so the lines, the progression of the hatching is a little closer together than mine. And I think it's just the way your hand moves and the way you're comfortable with. And so here's the page. Here's the page that David Kopecki sent me. And believe it or not, this is not Jim Lee. This is my pencils and inks. So Marvel used to publish this thing called the Marvel Swimsuit. And I still can't believe I got the centerfold of this book. Adam Hughes is in this book, you guys, but somehow I got the centerfold. It seems absurd. It seems crazy now to think about it, that somehow, Adam Hughes wasn't the centerfold guy in a Marvel swimsuit, and that I was. But there you go. There it is, man, right here. So yeah, this is 211 by 17 pages hooked together. So this thing's pretty big. And like I said, they're my pencils and inks. Yeah, you can't blow it up too big, but you can see some of the wacky brushwork on the trees and things, and on her hair. I think this was, everybody had to draw the Marvel characters in the Savage Land. Oh, it says 93. So this was AT 1993. So there's a dinosaur, in case you didn't know you were in the Savage Land. And there's a little horned toad on the branch there. So pretty cool. Good times. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did sharing it with you. Let me go back and see what you guys are talking about. I hope I didn't lull you to sleep. I hope the good old days were fun, and thanks for letting me reminisce and show you some artwork from the good old days. So I'm going back in time in the chat, see what you guys have been talking about, and then I have a special treat too. Like, this is a double special treat. Maybe even I'm thinking another page that I can show you guys. Let me see. So where are we? How are you, Art? We have Nighthawk Warrior. I'm doing good. What is this? To be fair, DC didn't took it. Jim sold it. Seems like they've forgotten about the characters. Oh, this must be something you guys might be talking about. Wildstorm, the Wildstorm characters, and DC buying them. Jim Lee Wildstorm, yes. We have Arthur Brown, the Uncanny Kodiak. How are you, brother? Yeah, like that's when it might have been. I was thinking it was earlier, but it might have been when Jim and I hung out. It might have been later. Oh, yeah, I could get into that. Yeah, thanks for the suggestions. Like I said earlier on, if there's anybody coming in just now, give me suggestions for things to talk about, and I can see which ones are the popular ones, and I can go into it. One of the main ones was the Jim Lee talk. You guys wanted to hear about the good old days. I said I wanted to talk a little bit about Image as well, but it's going a little long. Maybe I can do one where I just talk about breaking into Image and Image. I guess the birth of Image. So we can get into that. Oh, that brings memories. Okay. Wow, you guys have been busy in the chat. Dungeons and Dragons. I believe that's what Wills was saying. I do remember Jim looking back like, no. He was very nice to Wills, but I think he wanted to go knock back a couple brewskis with us. Missed the 90s. Yes. Then DC took it from. Yeah, that's a topic for another time. Okay, I'm looking for some highlights here. Okay, you guys are going. Care to comment on the DC news? What is the DC news? Oh man, you guys always spring this on me in these live chats. Somebody tell me what the DC news is. Is it just the Dan DiDito one? Because I talked about that on a previous stream. So did something else happen? Oh, are there any original pages you regret selling? I do wish I had some of the covers that I did with Jim Lee. That would be very, very cool to have. I don't own any of that Jim Lee artwork. I'm looking back, and it was probably a mistake. But one of the things that Jim and I did is we didn't have art returns go to us. It went to an art broker or art dealer. And I have a feeling that that art dealer was like one of Jim's friends or something. And I'm not saying there was any hanky panky or anything like that. So nothing like that. But I never got to see the pages. So I never really knew what my pages were versus what Jim's pages were. They just all sold at the same time. And then we would just split the money. Because when you do finishes, it's 50-50. So art returns is 50-50, and the royalties, you get more in royalties. So I think that's what we did, but I never got to see the pages. So they just sold. And I don't know. Looking back, I just think it might have been strange that once I stopped working with those guys, I stopped getting payment on pages, as if everything had sold. And then, you see things on the market and you're like, there's still pages being sold, but I'm not getting any money. Like I said, I'm not calling foul at all because I don't really know. All I know is that it was probably impossible, at least for me, to keep up with what was selling and what was not, because I didn't clearly know what was mine and what wasn't. So, and also, once we stopped working with each other, I don't know if those pages just became Jim's or if I just got forgotten about or how that all worked. But yeah, I wish that if some of those didn't sell, that they were returned to me, or if they did sell, that I got money from them. Like I said, I don't want to sound like sour grapes or that I'm like starting any crap, because I don't really know. But it always did seem weird that it just kind of stopped at a certain point, and there were no more checks coming in, and there was no art that was returned to me. So I do wish I had at least one page, like one cover from Jim Lee. I wish too I had one of the covers of Art Adams that I still had. I think it's kind of fun. I don't think I would sell them, but it's fun to know that you probably have a $10,000 piece of artwork, hanging on your wall, and I think that's kind of cool to just have. And I believe that's what those pieces of artwork are going for now. I know in the day I think I sold the Art Adams cover for around that. On the Fantastic Four that we did. So I see Mark Silvestri. Whenever I see Mark Silvestri, I have to click on it. Mark Silvestri does the Hottest Ladies too. Yeah, he actually might do Hotter Ladies now that you mention it, King Crow. All right. Look at Ghost Rider. Cool design. Yeah, the rib cage on the, I think he's talking about the bike. Yeah, the abs, the uplighting. Hermosa is cool. That's probably I lived in Huntington Beach too, but I think that Hermosa actually was cooler than Huntington Beach. Spacing is everything. Yeah, I think so. I think there's more clarity too, especially in those days. With the printing wasn't as good as it is now. Let's see what Jam Create says. The fact that I live in a time when I can watch videos and get art tips from Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, and yourself. Teenager me is just in awe of that. Holy crap. I think the same thing all the time. Like, I'm still in awe of it as well. And if I was in my 20s or even younger, like probably from 12, 13 on up, yeah, I would have lost it. All right. I never worked directly with Michael Turner. I just found this. Hold on, let me see if I can find it again. I was going through the archive stuff today, and where is it? Where is it? Oh my gosh. Oh, here it is. I found it. I'll have to go with the screen. No, I'll do the camera. I'll go with the camera. So Michael Turner was nice enough to ask me to do a trading card, a Fathom trading card. So I penciled this, and at the time, Hack Shack Studios had a color department. We had Hack Shack Color. So I think it was Rich Peraro colored this from Hack Shack Color. So these are based from my my pencils. So I wanted to try to do something different. So I didn't ink it. And so then they kind of take the back image and they kind of skew it or warp it. So that was pretty cool. This one looks a little darker. Maybe this one's faded because it was out. I think you're supposed to sign it. Oh, that's what this is. This is a signature card. You're supposed to sign it here. That's what that white space is. So actually the printing looks a little different. This one looks darker. So I don't know if this one was printed different. It does look like it's a little different, or it might have been out in the sunlight and faded. These are old. So yeah, that was nice. I mean, I knew Michael Turner, so I don't know if that counts. And he was nice enough to let me do a trading card for him. So Intense Stare, yes, the Intense Stare. So did anybody have like follow up to that DC news? What is this DC news? Art, go ahead and sign that card and send it to me. Thanks, bub. Sure, no problem. No problem. Okay, so you know what I should do? I'm gonna tease this as well. I have these. I offered them on the black and white, like I did like a 90s like retro with the black and white Indiegogo campaign. So one of the items were that you could get pogs. You could get some pogs. And so in the day, I had a licensing and we did pogs. So we made these available during the campaign, and the campaign's fulfilled, and I still have, let me move this out of the way. I still have all these pogs, and there's some slammers in here too. Slammerific here, the black and white on the back. I think you can pull this off. I think it's there for protection. I don't know what that is there. I think it's just like tape. And so, yeah, a little promo pog. RT Bears black and white this summer, 1994. So what I was thinking of doing with these is I'm going to do a black and white second chance campaign. And so my wife and I are setting up a pre-launch page now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to count how many of these I have. If I have enough, maybe I could do them first come, first serve in case I sell out of them. And I don't know if I should do a set because I think there's 4 in the set. If I should do the set or if I should just give one pog. I don't know. You can't really play pogs with one pog, but I'll figure it out if I have enough. And then everybody that signs up early, you can get either a set or a pog. I'll figure it out because I have some slammers here too. I'll figure out how to do it. And then you guys can get yourself a set of pogs absolutely free for just signing up, just giving me your address. And that will be for a second chance on, let me see, where is it? On this book. So this is the Greg Capullo variant. I have, I think I only have like 100 of these left, this version. This is the variant cover, Greg Capullo. And so then I have the standard, and I believe I have 500 of those. So, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of this book. Just looking at it, I'm beaming. I'm glowing. Yeah. Crazy labor of love. So, and thank you, 25 years in the making. So yeah, I'm going to do a second chance. So we'll give everybody who missed out on the first campaign a second chance to get the book. And it will be a first come, first serve kind of thing because that's all I have. That's all the books I have left. So they will be from the original run. They won't be like second printings or anything. These will all be from the first printing. And the variant is very limited. There's not a whole lot left. Like I said, I think there's only 100 of them. And some of them I have to keep for myself. So yeah, I'm going to do that as well. So like I said, my wife and I talked this morning about setting up a page, a pre-launch page, I guess is what they call them. And then we'll possibly, all the people that sign up, will give them a set of pogs. So that'll be cool, I think, just for giving your name and email address so we can give you a buzz when we go live and try to get some eyes on the campaign quickly, because it does help the algorithms, and we can get some more black and white books into your hands. Also, just to update, black and white Crono Mechanics is still in demand, you guys. It's going strong. I am going to basically, I'm setting this up as well, where I'm going to do a major push to get us to 40K before print time. So Crono Mechanics, all the line art is done. It's completely done, you guys. The pencils and inks are done, and a great deal of the color work is done as well. So we're looking at possibly wrapping the whole book by the end of next month. That's what we're shooting for. That is what we're shooting for. Whether we get there or not, cross your fingers. But that is what we are working towards. And if we can do that, then we're going to go with a printer in the States. So we should get the book back quicker as well. So if all goes as planned, like, you can never make like guarantees because you just don't know. There are too many variables and things out of my hands. But if we can do all these things and everything goes off without a hitch, we will get this book to you on time as promised. So that's the Crono update there. However, I do want to boast. I do want to boast and brag a bit. Let me see if I can do this. Screen share, doot, and give you some cool stuff. If that wasn't cool enough, we have this. So these are new colors right here. They look similar to the old, but these are all way enhanced. If you saw these back to back with the ones that are on the site, they would be like night and day. So this is Perea and Dream Color Studios. And we have page 9. Look at the reflective light off of Oot here. Really, really cool. And then the nice texture on their denim overalls. Sweet, sweet stuff. And then there's just like a bunch of little enhancements. Like there's this nice gradation here. And then there's a little sky detail in here. The effects are enhanced, and the sky, there's a sky, and the clouds are more painterly. So always looking to improve, you guys. Always looking to get you a better product. So wait till you see this. This floored me when I got this page back this morning. Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's low res, so I apologize for this as well. But this is Doug in his in all his glory. Like I said, this is a little pixelated. It's low res, but I just got too excited. I wanted to show them to you. Look at the Doug logo in the background, all lit up. Freaking cool, man. So cool. And there's a green tone. Each one of the characters has like a color designated to them. So Doug's is green. So a lot of his trim, his guitar, things like that are always in green. So very cool. This has got a couple color notes that are attached. So I'm waiting to get those back. The main one really is that each one of these 3 panels here, these last 3 or these 3 here, are going to have different color schemes. So right now they're all kind of red, but this first one here where he's got the acoustic guitar, that's going to have a blue backdrop. This one, the next one will still be red, but it'll have a little halo effect around his head. And then this last one will be more golds, more like, you know, how when, you know, they turn the floodlights on the crowd. That's what it'll look like there. So yeah, look at all the Bic lighters. In those days, they were Bic lighters. They weren't cell phones. So out in the crowd there, Doug is going backstage to get his interview from what's his name? Oh my God, Geraldo Rivera. Thank you. Thank you, Memory, for coming back. Yeah, but this is incredible. Look at all that. It's just sweet. So you know what? I'm going to find, I don't know if I'll get myself in trouble here. I don't know. I don't know if exactly how doxing works. But look at that. This is the first page. So this is timeless space, man. This is timeless space. Just alive. Look at that. It's crazy. I'm so proud of this book, you guys. And I'm so happy that you guys are supporting Crono Mechanics and backing it. And I just want to always like show off stuff to you and just to share some of my excitement with you guys as well. So stop sharing, go back. So yeah, the Crono Mechanics link is in the description. It's here as well. And please go check it out. If you could share the Crono Mechanics site with your friends, your neighbors, anybody that you know that loves comic books. You won't regret it. This is the funniest Comicsgate book you guys will ever read. I think Cash Grab will be second. Geraldo's looking groovy. Thank you, man. His head is massive. Leisure Suit Larry. Yeah. Yeah, that would be his nickname. Those colors on the first page, holy smokes. Yeah, this stuff is freaking mind-boggling. This book is going to look so cool, and it's done, you guys. Like, I'm pretty much done with the art, the pencils and inks. I'm just kind of, doing like my color, like overseeing the color, and make sure it's done, to the highest of specifications and quality. And we're getting pages back, lettering and stuff as well. And once I get a good chunk of those back and I'm happy with them, I'll show those off as well. I'm just made up my mind. I'm going to show you guys a great deal of it. I'm not going to spoiler, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just want to share as much as possible with you guys. Crono Mechanics is going to rock. And like I said, we are going to, I got a video being made right now that I'm working with one of the Comicsgate guys. So we have that. We're going to have, I think, 3 new stretch goals we're going to add within the next couple of days. And we have a new tier that we are going to put up as well. So these things are all in the works, and I'll be letting you guys know on a daily basis, here on YouTube, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And I usually have all kinds of updates there. I also have my newsletter, which I think is in the description as well. If you go there, you can sign up for the newsletter. And the newsletter is really beneficial, because if you're an original art collector, I always announce my deals, my sales, and anything else there first. And I also announce when commissions are opening. So if you guys are thinking about a commission, sign up there and you'll be the first to be notified when the commissions list opens. And the reason I'm saying that is because I will possibly be opening that list up soon. And if you guys come in late, you probably won't get a spot, because ego aside, I usually book up within the first half hour that I get put the word out. And I usually will book up just by announcing on the newsletter. I don't even go to my social media. So there is that. And one more thing, you guys, if you like this video, if you like the content I put out, if you want to see more of this, please like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate it, man. The last week, I think we got 40 new subs. Holy crap, you guys, this site is on fire right now, and it's all because of you. The only reason I'm here is because of you. The only reason I get to create these books is because of you. And man, I am so grateful every day that I get to wake up and work on these IPs for you and get to talk to you and hang out. So I really, really do appreciate you guys. You are the reason I'm doing this right now. So I do appreciate it. Master Thibert, thank you so much. Mayfield Jukes. Let's see, we get any parting shots? Awesome job, Thibert. Keep it up. I'm a big fan of when people mispronounce things. I think it's the funniest thing. Just don't call me late for dinner. Okay, congrats, Art. Well, thank you, man. And Arthur Brown wants the pogs. Sign up once that goes up. And like I said, keep tuned in here, and I'll let everybody know when that's going to happen. And so we got Mayfield again. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you guys. You guys are the best. Ooh, Liquor Jim. What does Liquor Jim say? Great to hear from you, Art. Keep the Crono Mechanics updates coming. Excited to receive the book. You are the best. Thank you. That is a great one to go out on. So thanks, guys. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow night, a Pontificators program. Last week, man, we had like two 2,000 eyes on that one. So we will try to keep that going. We'll try to keep up the what is this? Holy crap. My daughter just brought in some Thunder Buns. I got to show these to you guys. Ooh, they're still hot. They're still hot. Here we go. Ooh, don't you want to bite? Can't have it. Can't have it. So yeah, I will keep on rocking in the free world, my friend. And Albino, I hope you're on for tomorrow night. So we have a new pontificator, and it's Albino Thunder Buns. And he came in last week. He's our good luck charm. So he keeps us on the straight and narrow. I do appreciate it, and he's a great addition to pontificators. And so we will be going live tomorrow around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So what is that, 9 Eastern Time? And I believe I still have to check with everybody, all the pontificators. But I think we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the Robert Pattinson Batman outfit. I can't wait to see what everybody thinks of it, and I can't wait to see what you guys in the chat think. It's going to be a good time. So that's tomorrow night at 6 Pacific Standard, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for the great stream. No, thank you, man. Beauty. Wait, what is this? Did you send a black and white comic book to Capullo? No, I did not. Do you know something? Is he livid? Is he pissed that he didn't get one? Yeah, I do have to do that. Thank you so much, Comics Legend. You always got my back, man. You guys are the best. Thank you. Love the updates. Thanks, Skits. And Skits has a pre-launch real quick as well. So go to Indiegogo pre-launch page to sign up for Skits' pre-launch. I don't know if he's got some goodies to give away, but I'm sure he does. Nice art. Damn teaser art. Yeah. Haha. Sugar coma. Yes. Nom 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 nom. Yes. All the above. All right. I got to. Oh my gosh. You guys aren't going to let me go. Robert Pattinson Batman suit is a mashup of not just different bat suits, but a cow of owl blades, Court of Owls blades on his arms from Court of Owls. I think the what is his name? Didn't the one oh my gosh, what is the director's name? I always know it, like Christopher Nolan. Didn't his have blades for the little bat things on the gloves? I think they even shot out. I thought that was pretty cool when he's like face to face with the Joker and he just like those things shoot out at him right in the face. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, Art needs to send Capullo a copy. Yeah. Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in. I will do that. I will do it. If you guys want to give Capullo crap on Twitter, feel free. Hey, Greg, did you get your black and white copy? No, don't do that. Art, you're making me hungry. Yes, I gotta go. I gotta go. Bye, Art. Yes. So thanks, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. Take care and have a great day.